The list of human desires is never-ending. We crave a variety of items that may or may not be good for us. For example, we rush to satisfy our cravings as soon as we can afford them. This is how billions of people all across the world act. Their lives revolve around gratifying their desires rather than focusing on what they genuinely require. This attitude toward money may bring a temporary grin to our faces when we obtain the objects we so much desire. But when we're unable to pay for the most essential things in our lives, we're confronted with the reality of our actions. Have you ever taken a step back to consider why you're always broke? Where does all of your money go regularly? And why, 2 weeks after receiving your income or paying yourself, your bank account is mostly in the red? If you find yourself in this predicament and can't figure out what's going on with your money, here are some habits that will keep you impoverished even if you have a good job. 1. You don't have a budget or keep it up to date. How can you know how much money you're making, spending, and saving if you don't have a budget? It's quite difficult to achieve your financial goals without a budget. A budget is all about understanding how much money you make so you can set spending goals and maybe save money. Simply being aware of how much you spend can help you spend less since you become more aware of it. You must also keep your budget up to date and make modifications as you go. If you didn't grow up in a household where solid financial habits were instilled, creating a budget is the first step toward financial literacy. 2. You're not aware of your spending habits. Do you have a habit of overspending on restaurants but underspending on groceries? This terrible habit that makes you broke usually goes hand in hand with a lack of budget. While you may not be able to modify how much money you make in the near future, you can certainly change how much money you spend, such as eating out, entertainment, and other non-essential expenses. When you don't know how much you've already spent, it's much easier to spend more. You can also be hyper-focused on certain areas where making purchases if you know where you tend to spend too much money. 3. Buying cheap or quantity instead of quality. Have you ever purchased something just to have it break and force you to replace it? This is something we've done before. Rather than spending more on anything, we opt for the less expensive option. However, it eventually breaks, necessitating the purchase of a new one. Sunglasses are a good example. You purchase a low-cost pair and drop them, promptly breaking them. It's time to go out and get another pair of cheap shoes. What if you've only got one great pair and it lasts longer than all of your cheap ones? In the long run, you'll probably be better off investing in high-quality things, including food. You're also more inclined to look after more valuable objects. What does it matter what happens to your $25 sunglasses? But what about the lovely pair of $150 shoes? You may end up paying more money in the long term if you buy cheap. It's the same with quantity. Why spend the same amount on 5 quality t-shirts when we can get 20 for the same price? However, you'll most likely only wear 5 shirts, and those 5 shirts may even outlast the 20. 4. You don't have long-term goals, or your goals are vague. This is most likely more prevalent among younger individuals, but it happened to us as well. Either you don't have any goals at all or your goals are imprecise. If you don't have any financial ambitions, you're more likely to be careless with your money. You have no motive to spend less or save more if you don't have any ambitions. What about goals that aren't specific? One day you'd like to retire. That's great. What steps do you need to take in order to retire? You'd like to get rid of your debt. That's great. What steps do you need to take to get out of debt? Hopes and dreams are not goals. It all comes down to conducting some research and defining clear goals. You're more likely to spend your money on things that aren't beneficial in the long run if you have no aims or have ambiguous goals in either scenario. It's a lot simpler to tell yourself, I'm not going to buy that because I need to put this money towards my debt when you have precise targeted goals. 5. You're not investing extra money. Do you have a savings account with a low interest rate? If so, what's the reasoning behind it? If you don't need the money right away, you should put it into assets that will provide you with a better return. Banks strive to keep your deposits, cash, for as little money as possible. It is the means by which they can earn money. As a result, avoid keeping your money in cash or a savings account. Put your surplus cash to good use. It's one of the few techniques to increase your net worth. However, without investing your money, you're unlikely to reach your financial objectives. 6. You don't pay off your credit card balances. One of the worst behaviors that can keep you broke is carrying a credit card balance and paying interest. Credit card interest rates can be extremely damaging to your finances, requiring you to pay more money on interest each month. You should try to pay off your credit card amount each month if you can. Some people are just unaware that they're wasting money because they believe they only need to pay the bare minimum, or they aren't aware of how much money they're wasting on interest. However, many people have problems paying off their credit card debt. If you're having trouble paying off your balance each month, you might need to make a temporary plan until you can pay it off. It may be necessary for you to limit your spending to the bare necessities until the card is paid off. However, you'll save money because you'll no longer be paying interest. 7. You don't have a financial plan. While you may mistakenly believe that a financial plan and a budget are the same thing, they're not. One of the habits that may be keeping you broke is not having a financial plan. A budget is primarily concerned with the coming month or quarter, but a financial plan is concerned with the coming decade. Your financial plan should serve as a blueprint for achieving your financial objectives. It should detail how your investments are projected to perform over time and how you want to accumulate money. 8. You don't feel confident discussing money. Unfortunately, many of us are apprehensive about discussing money and finances. Because it's a negative mindset, this behavior may keep you poor. The majority of us did not grow up in a household where financial literacy was valued. You undoubtedly recall studying about cellular structure and the variations between plant and animal cells. Compounding interest and debt amortization, however, were not included. This has resulted in a lack of confidence when it comes to discussing money and finances. But if you are terrified of money, how will you reach your financial goals? You gain confidence once you understand the fundamentals of money and realize that a lot of it is determined by how you spend and save. That self-assurance is crucial to achieving the financial status you desire. 9. Increasing your expenditure. As your income increases when most individuals start earning more money, they typically upgrade their housing, get a nicer automobile, purchase more costly clothing, take more holidays, and enroll their children in more expensive schools, among other things. While increasing your level of living as your income rises is a good thing, exaggerating it may leave you with little more than what you had before. If you ever want to get out of the rat race and onto the fast track, you'll need to improve your saving and investing habits. This means that if your salary rises, you'll be able to improve your standard of living by a fraction and have more money saved aside. 10. You don't value your time. This was the last one we wanted to do. One of the most valuable commodities you have in life is your time. We trade time and skill for money when we get a job. However, it's easy to establish or already have the tendency of not appreciating your time. Participating in surveys is a prime example of not appreciating the value of your time. Consider what you could be doing instead of spending that small sum of money. If you truly want to generate more money, you should use the time you spend filling out surveys on improving your skills and knowledge. Your most valuable asset is your time. It can be used to construct something or to learn something new. Consider what else you could have done with those 10 hours if you hadn't spent them filling out questionnaires. Concentrate on the big picture rather than the details. A survey may pay you $5 today, but learning a new skill could pay you $5 more per hour for the rest of your career. My final thoughts on this list? You're broke because of a number of terrible habits. The idea is to be aware of them and strive to develop wealth-building habits. So thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed or found value in this video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. With that said, have a great day.